Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 608 for the week of Monday, February 26th, 2024. My name is Ryan Higgins. That is Toby off to take a COVID test. Thank God we don't record it in person anymore. He'll be back in a few minutes. Who else is here this week with us?
Brock Sager. And did you record that?
No. I just started when I started.
Oh, okay.
No.
Kevin, and wouldn't it be fun to sit and watch live while you're waiting for the test result to clear on the little card?
Can't wait. 15 minutes?
Should be on the YouTube version.
If we were sitting in the store and you're just watching that little line?
Yeah.
It's a little like a live stream.
I tell Google, I tell Google to set a timer and I walk away from it. That's
Well, I mean, on YouTube, all you show is the logo anyway, right? So you should just show the picture of the
Yeah.
COVID test until it
The
changes.
COVID test slowly changing. That's Lane. Toby will be back in a few minutes. He has to yell at us about something, which I don't know.
No, not us. Not us.
Me.
Yes.
It's always me.
Yeah.
It's always me.
well, no, he yells at me sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, we have a ton of stuff to talk about this week, so I'm not going to dick around here. We're going to start with some sad news, but I don't know. It is sad. I don't know where I'm going with that, but there's other stuff to say about this. And then we'll get Toby's sick. Where he wants to talk about one thing, and then he's probably going to leave. So we'll do his story next. But as has become way too common, we have to talk about a creator who passed away this past week. Ramona Fradon, DC comic artist, worked on Brenda Starr, newspaper strip for a long time. Died at the age of 97, about a month after announcing her retirement from drawing and doing comic work at 97 years old. Now, at 97, that's an incredibly long life and a well-lived life, and still drawing at 97 is incredible. So, sad to lose her, but also it's like, what an incredibly long career, like 70 years.
Wasn't
her like 75 years?
Wasn't her women's History Month or whatever variants on FOC this week? This past week?
So she's done a couple covers for DC on and off, and she did some women's Women's Month covers for DC. So there's a couple of them that were on order this week. So it's kind of like her last published work. She's an interesting person in the comic industry because at the end of the day, didn't do a ton of comic book work, right? I mean, did some work in like the 50s and 60s, co-created Metamorpho, so not insignificant. But and Kevin, maybe you may have a little better knowledge of the history here. I feel like this is an interesting case where, I'm sure the creators knew her, but I would say pretty overlooked in the fan community until more recently. I feel like something clicked a decade ago or so where people were like, oh, she's still around. She's still doing work. She's doing commissions and she's at conventions and they're great and affordable and holy crap. And she was getting I think flooded with commission requests in the last 8 or 10 years, which is pretty unheard of for creators at that age, and to kind of have almost a kind of a second renaissance here, right?
Like a resurgence.
Well after her traditional time in the 60s and 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, doing the bulk of her work. So yeah, I don't know, Kevin. Do you think do you find that accurate, or because it?
Yeah,
I'm not going to claim I was the biggest fan. I knew the name, but I was like, oh yeah, just one of a million comic creators from that time period.
Metamorpho would be her most famous.
Yeah.
Co-creation.
Yeah,
I think with her, you'd have to do research, or I don't mean you personally. I mean anybody who's interested in this, because a lot of her credits were in the Silver Age before there were credits in the comics.
Right.
So it's not a name that during the bulk of her work that most people would ever have seen that name because there were no credits. So you'd know her from Metamorpho, Plastic Man, and then she did a long run on the Aquaman, and she did a long run on the Super Friends comic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what most people would know her from. But she actually has a lot more comics work than that.
Yeah.
You just have to do some detective work to figure it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what can you say? It's a classic style that is not really a style that's in today's market. You know what I mean? Like that kind of very, what's the word I'm looking for? Innocent almost. Mm-hmm. Cartoony, but not in a bad way, just of a different era. Mm-hmm. I love Ramona. She was so super nice as a person. I like her art. I was lucky enough to get a commission from her when there was still a chance. And yeah, nobody's going to go 97. What a tragedy, but it's sad. Yeah. It's sad, of course.
Yeah. 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 It's, there's a lot of comments about, how nice she was, especially to her fans, as time went on. But there was a lot of really great stories that started popping around social media. I mean, being a woman in comics at that time, hell, the majority of it, but it's really changed in the last decade or two in America, really the last decade. But being one of the very few women making comics at that time, she clearly did not, she didn't suffer fools. There's a great little kind of back and forth with her with Howard Chaykin, and Howard Chaykin's a giant asshole, right? I mean, just a giant curmudgeon, and she not. There's a great little back and forth between her, him and her from one of the books that was floating on social media. I thought that was pretty funny. So she clearly could stand on her own. Those commissions, I think if you've been on comic social media, you've probably seen a lot of those float around the last couple of years. They were still fantastic. And there was a, something like the superpowers. That's such a great, simple enough to be animation, but detail enough to not look bad. There was a lot of that animation at that time. You take the Alex Toth designs, but then you really gotta kind of dumb them down for animation. She feels like no, they took those styles and brought them to life in a comic book way. And the Aquaman stuff is fantastic. Metamorpho is a fun book, but I think those Aquaman issues are great. She was there for kind of the redesign of the Silver Age Aquaman and Aqualad. Yeah. I really like that. It just, the way you said, simpler time, but not in a bad way. It's not, they're not, the art's not, juvenile or simple. It's especially Metamorpho. That's a complex character to draw points. There's a lot going on with that character. I'm sure probably not most artists aren't a huge fan of drawing Metamorpho or or Plastic Man. I think those could be extremely complicated characters to draw it done right, and she did a great job with it. So yeah.
Well, and her style also held. Like the commissions that you look at from the 2010s look as good as her art did in the Silver Age.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. Yeah. And I think that's maybe why she sort of had this resurgence through the conventions and commissions. And, you talk about so many of these artists, guys like Neil Adams and Frank Miller, who for us on a personal level, the art did not remain the quality that we all loved back at their heyday, right? Everyone has their own opinions. They can like it or dislike it, but things change. Hers is still great. Now, she wasn't doing sequentials for the most part. Right. That's a little bit different, but I would have paid $200 for a CGC commission sketch piece. I would not pay $200 for Frank Miller's or John Romita Jr.'s commission sketch piece. We've seen how those turn out, right?
If you think you're going to get one of those two guys for $200, you've
no, that's what the head sketch, right? The head sketch, right? I mean, that's yeah.
You're going to get Dot for $200.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I know plenty of people with Ramona commissions, and I can't think of anybody who I know of or who I've ever heard of say, wow, I was really disappointed in that piece, ever. And that's rare. That is rare, no matter who the artist is. That's really rare.
Yeah, and they are, and like the stuff she was doing was like full body. There was a there was like a story. It wasn't just like a side profile of a head, right? Like there was something going on, and that is when I really rare. And it showed that she just continued to just do great art later in life, and yeah, especially at that. It's sad, but not. There's not much you can do, but I think a incredible career later in life, which is hard for a lot of people to do.
Yep. And she was a year one signature in the first DC book that year one, maybe within like the first 10 people who signed it for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
nice.
Cool. Well, I was going to wait. Toby said he'd be right back.
There's plenty of comics news to talk about.
Oh, there's a ton of comic news to talk about, but you have one particular thing that you want to make sure you're here for
all 3 or 4 of them.
Okay. Well, what would you like to talk about first, Toby? And then I will go through the list.
I will say we got to talk about DC Finest, and then we got
okay.
Just DC, and we got to talk the amalgam, which I always say wrong and call it the almanac. I've learned to say correctly now. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And then hold on, I took notes. Where's your notes?
Oh, wow.
I lost
some movie news, right?
Okay. I'm going to go down. I'm just going to go down my list.
Yes.
Toby, if you need to go, let me know.
I added to your list, my friend.
Did you?
Yeah. Because you did not include DC Finest. I had to add that myself.
It's in there. It's in there.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, I blame my altered state for not seeing it.
Well, why don't we start with this one? Immediately after recording last week's podcast, in which we spent way too long debating what Marvel and DC could do about this rumored reprinting of the Marvel DC crossovers, they basically announced everything the day after, which is, the comic conspiracy curse. And Marvel versus DC Omnibus and the Amalgam Age Omnibus are coming in August from DC Comics with maybe some help from Marvel, possibly. And that is going to be well, hold on. There's a bit of...
There's some asterisks.
There's a caveat.
Yeah. So every Marvel and DC crossover in the Omnibus, with the exception of JLA Avengers. Now let's stop there and let's talk about that one first. That's coming, right? They're going to do that as a separate book. They're going to do that. They're going to reprint that oversized
Absolute.
Absolute. They're going to do something special for that. They have to, right? That is the that is the end all be all of
that's the book that broke me into buying really, really, really expensive books, and I'll not beat a book I'll just buy again.
And they'll do it again. Yeah. So, it makes sense. And again, that's a hefty book. Dude, that's not a small book. So that would have added quite a bit of room to that omnibus. So we are getting everything except for that. Again, very confident that that's going to come. Now, there was some update on this when they solicited the book. The cover art they chose was
that's your good friend.
Interesting. It was not the cover I would have chosen. Let's just say that. We'll leave it there.
This is for the DC Marvel one.
At the DC vs. Marvel omnibus, yeah. However, this past weekend at Comics Pro, they showed the final cover, which was the George Perez. It's like recolored. You could tell they probably had the original scans and just recolored it. It is the original DC Marvel crossover classics, I believe was the name of the graphic novel.
That trade. It was a trade, right?
Yep. So this is the George Perez cover for that trade, which has Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Hulk, and the 80s Teen Titans, X-Men, right? So those original first three crossovers are highlighted on the cover of this graphic novel by George Perez. So what an incredible choice. Thank you very much, DC, for making that change, because that is the correct cover to use for this omnibus. Now, there is a variant cover.
Save that for later. Go through
I don't know anything. But I will give you my thought. I will give you my theory. Okay. Because we got the second omnibus.
Yes.
It got announced. Amalgamate.
Yes.
So this is all the Amalgam books, as well as I did, Toby. I think I did look at it does have both Marvel vs. DC and All Access. Yeah, so those are all in the DC Marvel Amalgam book. So it's all the Amalgam stuff. Yeah. Where DC vs. Marvel does not have any of that.
Which makes sense. Those two stories. That split makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So DC vs. Marvel was a 4-issue book, which led to Amalgam, which is where they took the characters and smashed them all up. So you have Iron Lantern and Spider-Boy and Super Soldier and X-Patrol, and All Access was like the 4-issue.
The Bad Wolverine Bat?
Dark Claw? Dark Claw, right?
Dark Claw?
Yeah, Dark Claw, yeah. All Access was the 4-issue miniseries, sort of like Access is the character they both co-owned. I don't know what the current status of that character is. I don't think Access ever appeared in like ACCESS, not Access, like AXIS, like All Access. That character, I'm confident never appeared in anything else. Maybe JLA Avengers, but I don't remember that character showing up in anything else. But that was sort of the miniseries that wrapped up the Amalgam books. So now there is also an asterisk on this as well, because there are 2 issues that are not listed in the book. And that is, I have them here. It is the 2 issues written by Gerard Jones. It is
Magneto and the Magnetic Man and JLX.
There you go. Now, the reason he was arrested many years ago for child pornography, not great. And DC has been a little hesitant around republishing his stuff. They have, but it tends to be either uncredited or just kind of not really talked about. Now, in this omnibus listing, there is a really helpful little phrase in here at the end of the solicitation that says, "and more." So my hope is, I do not know for sure. I'm trying to find out. I have not confirmed either way, but I'm going to assume the "and more" part of the solicitation is those 2 books. It's not like you're giving the guy money to do new work. I don't know. It's tough, right? You want the collection to be complete, even though someone really scummy was involved in the creation of 2 of the books. On a personal level, I want those books in there. It's a complete collection. They should be in there. I understand if you don't want to buy it if they're in there. And if they're not in there, I also understand if you don't want to buy it because you want the complete version. So it's a case where I think DC's kind of fucked either way. I would hope they're in there on a personal level. I'm not supporting the guy, clearly, but for the sake of everything else in the book, you sometimes have to deal with the bad people, and you just don't publicize it or promote that end of it. How many times have I said, yes, I want all the Jeff Johns stuff collected forever, but from Green Lantern, all the stuff with these advanced Guyver artwork. Yes, there's nothing you can do about it. That's just how it was done. It sucks, but don't put the guy's name on it on the cover. I don't know, royalty-wise, I'm sure they maybe have to pay him something. I don't know if criminal offenses kills your work for hire contract. It might. You maybe not see a penny from it. I don't know what the specifics are. So frustrating either way, depending on how you feel about it. But we'll see. We'll see what the final book ends up being, which sucks. At Comics Pro, they announced the variant cover for the Amalgam Omnibus. Now, usually I might roll my eyes at variant covers for omnibuses.
Drum roll. Well,
they're not fucking around because they got Jim Lee to do a brand new wraparound cover for the Amalgam Omnibus.
And
Jim Lee drawing
went all Jim Lee out on this one.
Jim Lee drawing Lobo the Duck and Bat Thing. So that's funny. But then it got me thinking, and I was like, wait, they haven't announced he's doing the Marvel DC crossover omnibus. Could it be? Could Jim Lee be doing that variant cover too? They just haven't shown it. Now, if that's the case, if Jim Lee is doing the variant cover, I don't know. No, don't take. I didn't say it. I'm not telling you this is true.
I'm going to church if he's doing the variant cover for the other book.
You would what? You would think they would have just announced the cover. It could be like a mashup of a bunch of creators at Marvel and DC to do the cover. But if Jim Lee's doing the Amalgam cover, it also makes sense if he's doing the variant cover for the Marvel vs. DC Omnibus too. That would be legit, like real big comic news if Jim Lee was back drawing, 80s X-Men and Spider-Man, Batman, and Punisher. Right? Like, how cool would that be? He does the stuff at on his live stream and stuff like that. But like
officially,
when was the last time? This would be a big deal. So,
well, it's already a big deal with the Amalgam stuff.
It is, but it's also funky. It's like, Jim Lee is drawing Doctor Strange Fate. That's interesting. Cool. We'll see if he draws that other cover. I don't say very often that I'm going to buy every variant cover of an omnibus, but apparently I'm buying every cover of an omnibus. So.
Are you buying both?
I didn't even buy the variant covers for the new Warriors omnibuses because I was like, hell no. It's just a reprinted cover. I don't care. 2 new pieces by Jim Lee, one of them being Marvel vs. DC. Yes, I will bite the bullet and I will buy those covers as well. I have to. That is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And those DM exclusives do not stay in print. They do not stick around. They are limited.
Fast,
Those Jim Lee ones are going to go, that's what people are going to be pre-ordering like hotcakes.
Right. They're going to be comic store only. So, again, I do not know if the first one is Jim Lee. They will announce it sooner than later, I assume.
Well, it says in the article you linked that the 2 direct market for DC versus Marvel and DC Marvel the Amalgam Age. He just has the finished one for the Amalgam Age. That's what the article says.
This is a Comics Beat.
No, AIPT.
Oh, the AIPT one. Yeah. I mean, I have a couple different articles. It's possible. To the best of my knowledge, I've not seen any official announcement of what that other variant cover is. Fingers crossed it's Jim Lee. Now, look, if it's a mashup of when they did the George Perez tribute piece, right, where they got all the different creators to do characters, that'd be fucking great too, right? So, I mean, I'm not gonna knock it if that's what it is, but it'd be something special if Jim Lee did the entire Marvel vs. DC.
You probably would have really known if you had went to Comics Pro.
Maybe. Well, I didn't. That's what the internet's for, to tell me all the news. Very exciting stuff.
Oh no, I saw that news over the weekend. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay.
Well, I thought it was like April Fool's joke. I had to send an article to Ryan. Go, is this for real?
Yeah.
I never thought in a million years they're going to do those again. I remember I bought the reprints. I was in the 90s. I was working at the shop, and I bought the reprints with the golden the outer rim was gold for the original 4, the Superman, Spidey one, and the Batman, Hulk one, and so on, Titans and X-Men. And then I was there for the Daredevil Batman. Was it Daredevil Batman, or was it? I think it was Daredevil Batman, and there was Spider-Man Batman, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was Well, hell, me, I can give you the full.
I was there for pretty much all of them. I bought them off the shelf, and I loved all those books. I gotta be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of Marvel versus DC, but absolutely will buy that as well. There's a really cool page with Nightwing and Gambit in a panel. That's one of my favorite panels of all time.
Yeah, so the omnibus for the Marvel vs. DC one has Amazing Spider-Man, Superman vs. Amazing Spider-Man, Marvel Treasury 28, which was the Batman Hulk one, DC Special Series 27, which is that's the second
Superman Spider-Man.
Yeah. Marvel DC Presents featuring the Uncanny X-Men and New Teen Titans. That's the X-Men Titans crossover. So those I have all got after the fact because I wasn't reading comics when they started. So all the rest going forward, I picked up every single one of these. Batman, Punisher, Lake of Fire, Batman, Punisher, Deadly Knights, Darkseid vs. Galactus, which that's a cool one.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
That's a cool one. Spider-Man and Batman, Green Lantern, Silver Surfer, Unholy Alliance, Silver Surfer, Superman, Batman, Captain America, Daredevil, Batman, Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, Fantastic Four. That was the oversized one, right? Yeah. Incredible Hulk vs. Superman and Batman, Daredevil, #1. They kind of gave up on the subtitles after a while. So, a lot of Batman, a lot of Spider-Man, to be expected. But all fun books, all really fun books.
My eyes popped when I saw that they were actually doing this. Do you know what news would have made my eyes like literally pop out of the sockets, like on springs, like a Tex Avery cartoon?
What's that?
Would have been if that omnibus included the true first company crossover, which is that Wizard of Oz. They did a Wizard of Oz Treasury a year before Superman, Spider-Man. MGM owns the rights though, but I'm saying like if they announced they were reprinting that, I would have like practically keeled over.
That feels like another layer of difficulty.
Yeah, I know. That's why I would have been so stunned. But you want to talk about the complete collection? It's not the complete collection without that.
Well,
that's the true first crossover.
But it's not. It's not like. I mean, it's just the Wizard of Oz.
Okay. So we're judging based on the content of the characters, not that the two companies did a comic before Superman, Spider-Man.
Maybe they will. Maybe it might be. This is a brand new
is
world.
That the and more?
I mean, it could be. It could be. It could be.
That would be shocking.
I'll find out. I'll ask. Maybe it'll come as a compendium or something. So the other big news.
Yep.
And all of our wallets and garages and attics and basements are crying.
Hey, don't forget sheds.
In sheds. Finally, the day has come. Like 15 years later, the day has come. DC Comics is getting into the Epic Collection game with DC's finest. The first 5 books out will be Batman Year 1 and 2. Now I'll give you a little bit of back. I'll give you some info on these in a second. Superman: The Coming of Superman, which is the Golden Age, starts with Action Comics #1. Wonder Woman: Origins and Omens, which is Gail Simone's start of Wonder Woman, pre-New 52. Flash: The Human Thunderbolt, which is the Silver Age Barry Allen Flash, and Catwoman: Lifelines, which is the 89 solo post-Batman Year 1 miniseries, as well as the ongoing Jim Ballant 1992 Catwoman series. So these are roughly the size of Marvel Epics. In some cases, I almost think they're bigger. I was kind of looking at some of the page counts. They're hefty. They're hefty page counts. So they're at least the size of Marvel Epics. I don't know how long this is going to last, but the launch price is $34.99, which puts it $10 to $15 cheaper than the current Marvel Epic volumes.
Nice.
That is cheap. So I don't know, but from this initial batch, I would hope they would, I don't know if this is an official thing, but I would like them to stick to this schedule. We have Golden Age Superman, Silver Age Flash, late Bronze Age, early Modern Age, post-Crisis, right? Post-Crisis, Batman. So I don't know if this is starting at 404 or if this is going to start at 401, which is technically the first post-crisis issue of Batman. But it does seem like it's starting, it's the post-crisis, so 80s, right? Mm-hmm. Jim Bell and Catwoman, 90s, and Gail Simone Wonder Woman, 2000s. So that is your 5 major eras of comics: Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age / crisis time, and then Modern Age, 90s and 2000s, right? And Pre-New 52. So I would kill for them to stick to that schedule where every month they said this is a book a week, basically. Like, this is not a one-off. And I did talk to people at DC. There seemed to be a little bit of confusion about this. The name DC Finest, I guess, might imply that this is like a collection of issues. No, this is Epic Collection. This, like, 100% confirmed, guaranteed. These are full runs in chronological order. Eventually they're being published like Marvel Epics are. They're out of publication order. They did say that it was in part of the press release that these are going to stick to character. So Batman is one book, Superman is one book, Flash is one book, like one series. That's a lot. So I thought maybe if they ever did this, they'd do like post-crisis stuff. Because I'm like, okay, yeah, you could probably get away with that. We're at like 11 omnibuses alone for Golden Age Batman and Superman, 10, 11 omnibuses, which would break down to roughly 20 to 22 of these. That's just Golden Age.
Silver Age to live for, Ryan.
Silver Age is double that. So you're talking, you're upwards of 50 issues of Batman and Superman alone by the time you hit, remember with the Modern Age when it's like, oh, Superman's a weekly title, there's 4 books plus miniseries plus specials plus crossovers. Batman, there's going to be like 2 or 3 books per year for Batman, if not more. So that's amazing. This will be going our entire lives if we were getting a book a week. The
book a week's a hefty amount.
That's what epics are. Epics are there's like 50 epics a year. There's a lot. Yeah, it's like a book a week. I mean, it averages. Sometimes you get 2, sometimes you get 0. Most of the time you get 1. And then reprint cycle in through there. So yeah, they're not.
The only weird one is that Batman one.
What's that?
I think for me, the only weird one is the Batman one.
Batman's going to get weird
because it's like
the 90s.
It's like year 1 and year 2, but did they go back to back in release?
No. So that's what this is going to collect. Basically, like, a year 1 was 88, and year 2 was 89. I believe, right?
You're pretty close. You might be plus or minus 1 year, but that's pretty close.
Yeah, so you can see on the back of the book that they're going to be all the Batman books in chronological order. So you may have like a story arc, like year 1, because that's 4 issues of Batman in a row. I would assume, because there's no connective thing in Detective, they may just run those straight through. That would make the most sense. But then you'll get the pre-Detective Comics issues, and then they have one of the annuals on there. They have one of the Batman annuals on, because on the back you can see the issues. And these are all the issues of Detective and Batman from that time. Because year 2 ran.
Okay, so it's not just those 2 things. It's taking
right. The title is year 1 and year 2, but it's going to have every issue from that batch of books. That's why I'm wondering if it's actually going to start at 401, because that is the first post-crisis issue of Batman, and Detective is like 530. Yeah. Or 437 or something like that. I forget what the first Detective post-crisis issues. I have a list of them. And Superman is going to be so Superman Volume 1 is Action Comics 1 through 25 and Superman 1 through 5 in New York's World Fair #1. So that is, I mean, obviously the Superman parts of those books. So it is just those characters straight through. So I'm fucked. Like, there's no 2 ways to put it. I don't know what to do. I must buy them all forever.
Are we getting another warehouse just to store these?
I mean, that's what the garage is for. That's what the second warehouse is for, Brock. Just our finest collections.
Oh God.
So
I think the nice thing is you can pick and choose as you go, and certain things like I think these books here that are listed are kind of those key moments, and so those will kind of, if DC's smart, they'll keep those ones kind of in print.
So Marvel basically they cycle through the new books and then they reprint a certain amount of older books. Yeah, there's going to be, volume 17 of the Superman Golden Age. That's going to be pretty low on anyone's reprint list, right?
Yeah.
But hopefully they do eventually, right? I mean, the point here is they'll jump around between characters. I don't know how far this goes. We haven't got any release past the first month.
Oh, no. What's this going to look like in the hub?
And we'll find out. So, interesting, right? They are not numbered. So, I did a little research into this, asked some of the people at DC. On the back, if you could see it, you can see the mock-ups. These aren't official because it's, like the fake text and stuff. But they have mock-ups in the back. They basically have the entire run or whatever, some portion of the run for like Superman and Batman, because there's so many books, broken down by years, and the books are they like highlight the years that these books take place. So for me, DC's track record has not been great with graphic novels recently. Sucks. It's a little unfortunate. I don't think anyone expected Epic Collections to last and to work the way they did. It seems like such a weird idea, but they're incredible. I would think this is DC kind of hedging their bet and just saying, if this doesn't work, and if we get a couple years of these out and we're sold to 12 other companies and nobody works here anymore and we're all run by AI and we're all reprinting and, whatever, and we stop this, then at least you have collections of Batman 88 and 89, Flash 56 and 57, these kind of year views. But the idea is that these collect across the entire way. So, mentally think about the way the epics work, right? I think the example I was using with Toby when I was talking about this, releasing them out of order is really fascinating because it's like this puzzle. It's a sort of puzzle that you're waiting to get filled in. And I think it does psychologically does a great job getting readers to go in long term and be like, okay, I'm waiting for volume 8. That's going to fill in this part of the puzzle. Okay, now I'm collecting these issues, right? It's because if it was just volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you stop, you're like, yeah, I go 1 through 8. That's fine. But the way they're releasing them, you're kind of like always waiting for the next one to come in to see what part of the puzzle it fills in.
Well, and you can chunk whatever you want. So if you don't want those early issues or something, you can not get 1 through 5.
Yeah, if
you started at volume 6, and that's where you really came into enjoying this series or whatever, you can jump on at 6 and fill 6 to 20, right?
Correct. But I think it's a smart move with how far back DC goes. I think it's a smart move to do it this way. Because you're exactly right, Brock. If you just want to do post-crisis Batman, you're not starting with volume 87, right? Yeah, no. You're starting with Batman 1987, right? And so you can you'll have these numbers in order from a year point, not a numerical point. It's not like I must buy issue 1. It's like, well, I'm starting with these years moving forward. And with the amount of product DC has released, I think this is the correct way, because only psychopathic myself and Miguel at the shop are going to buy every single volume, right? The vast majority of people will just pick and choose certain eras that they want, right? So
key things will be kept in print, and it'll be easier to keep those things in print because they're just whatever. It's not like a volume 1 or whatever. It's
you hope
year 1, year 2, right?
Right. Yeah, you hope that the key volumes will not really go out of print, and then like the Epics, as they get a bigger backlog, they can go, okay, we're going to go from 52 new volumes a year to 40 new volumes a year, and then every month we'll cycle in a reprint, right, of the older ones, and I think that's fair. Now how far do they plan to go? I don't know. We getting an Ambush Bug one? We getting House Secrets? I don't know. I mean, maybe eventually.
So I saw this on Twitter in Blue Sky when it was coming out with these things. And my first reaction was, they're going to fuck up the spine on one of these. And it's going to be out of order. It's going to look weird on the shelf.
So I love the spines are great, right? The spines are...
no, the spines are solid, but like Sandman, the last 10 volume set just keeps screaming at me going, the volume, what was it, volume 7 or 6 or something, where it was just higher than the rest of them. It wasn't set right.
Yeah, hopefully not.
That's not. Like, I was like, oh man, fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully not. I mean, I love, the spines are great. So the thing that gets me, so they have the modern DC logo. DC sure does change their logo regularly. That's going to drive me crazy if down the road they change the logo on the spine. Now, I have a option. What if they use the time appropriate logo?
That's perfectly fine
on the book. Right. So if you have Golden Age, you have the Golden Age DC logo. If you have New 52, you have the New 52 peel, right?
Yeah.
I really hope. I mean, these are mock-ups. These are not the final art and everything like that, but it's pretty likely what they're going to look like. I would kill for that. Just a time accurate DC logo, and then you can you have the artwork that's going to change because they have the character face and head, right?
Well, you have that DC's Finest at the top, right? Which is fine. Keep that, but the logo where you're talking about on the spine, like have that, like you said, time period accurate for DC. The cover can be a new DC stamp. Who cares? Right. But it's that, like, I mean, you would want to keep it the same, but
yeah.
It's,
I think that would be a fun way to acknowledge, what this is, right? It's yeah. Because these are reprints of some of their classic times. So very excited, very finally, and what's it, like, end of the year, right? I think November, is that what they said?
August? No,
launch November. Yeah. So fantastic. Can't wait.
All you want for Christmas is these DC's Finest
forever. Start boxing them up. Get to them one day.
Are you just going to start ordering them by the case, and we're just going to be known as the store that has DC's Finest?
We added a couple new shelves, Brock. We need more shelves.
Oh, son of a bitch.
We need so many more shelves.
Okay, hostile takeover of Mathnasium.
So many more shelves.
Hostile takeover of Mathnasium. Just
Toby. Well, Toby, you all in? Every volume?
Pretty sure.
Every volume 1992 and up?
Probably 70s and up, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll probably go with all of the opening ones, and then kind of go from where I kind of want them.
Yeah.
From there.
I mean, I read from the 80s, so I have a soft spot for all the 80s ones. And I think some reprints, or the ones I got at the used bookstores, were all from the 70s. So I think I will start in the 70s and work my way up and pick some of the originals. But I am looking forward to all those Dick Swan Supermans, man. It's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for that.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm super, super stoked. Been wanting this for years.
Nice.
Yeah. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm super excited.
And I'll pick some.
So happy.
I'll get the first Superman. I'll probably get the first Batman. I'm not sure. But I'm not sure if I will collect all of them. Because of space reasons. But I think 70s and up just because that was a happy time in my comic book history. So I think I'll pick those up and have a nice little library. And then when I'm old, I'll have something to go back to.
Yeah. No, it's great because, we do get people asking for this type of stuff. I don't think they want to buy Batman Golden Age forever, but people do want to check out those early stories. It's great to see the stuff back in print. And there's so much cool stuff in the 70s, 80s, and 90s that have never been reprinted or not fully reprinted, just, select collections. So very hopeful, very, very hopeful that this
now
means...
the real question is, hopefully they don't mess up if they recolor or ink it differently.
Don't know. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed.
Do we I didn't read completely, but do we know what the paper stock's going to be?
I don't know, it'll just be the same paper stock all our current stuff's on. I can't imagine it'd be any different.
So I know Epic is a little like glossy and thin.
It's a little glossier. Yeah.
I didn't know if they were going to go with something that was thin and glossy, or maybe like thin and newsprint. Like,
yeah, I mean, it won't be newsprint, but yeah, I don't know.
That's just the style. I kind of the rough feeling to the paper. That's just how I associate it.
Yeah, that tends to be a little thicker, so I would think no, but it's possible. It is a question because Batman Year One is going to be first in this list, and the version of Batman Year One that's been in the graphic novels is recolored. So that is not the way you showed. That was not the way it was on the comic page. It was just a different coloring, and so they kind of remastered it when they put it out in the collected edition. So yeah,
and they're going to be releasing a new version of that one, right?
What's that?
Like a deluxe version of Year One?
I don't know.
I think I saw something from Comics Pro saying that they were going to do that too.
Possibly. I mean, it'd be great if they did one with the original coloring. I'd love that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what the plan there is. But fantastic news. Great reprints. Cool stuff. Super happy with all that. There's one other big comic news from DC from Comics Pro. And that is Wednesday is New Comic Book Day once again. Bring back those Marvel variant covers from a couple years ago. DC Comics New Comic Day is now Wednesday. Yay. So back during COVID, DC shift their new releases to Tuesday to match up with the release of the graphic novels, which, I understand, but we never did it.
I wouldn't say COVID. I would say during the transition period of people not knowing comic sales and deciding to do whatever the hell they wanted with publishing.
Yeah. So books come out on Tuesdays, and graphic novels do too. So theoretically, all the Marvel and DC graphic novels we could sell on Tuesday, right? We always have been able to because that's their release.
Well, didn't for a while we would get it a week or two before they would be on release?
Right. So comic stores we get our stuff on Wednesdays. I mean, now I'm talking about because Penguin Random House. Yeah, back pre-COVID, pre-Lunar and Penguin and all that. Comic stores would get graphic novels 6 days prior to the wide bookstore release because we would get them on Wednesday. Bookstore releases are Tuesday, so Amazon would have the book out like the following Tuesday. I
could go to Amazon and look at their release date and like subtract a week and go, it's out that week.
So I'm very confident the idea here from corporate was, why do we have two release dates for these? Just put it all at the same day and then put the comics out on the same day. That's the day books come out. It's Tuesday. I get it. I do get it. But there is something kind of special about Wednesdays, and it's, comics about Wednesdays now for a long time, 30-ish years, 20, 25, 30 years. It's kind of our day. If they wanted to, if Tuesday became New Comic Day, so be it, right? That's cool. But yeah, and because no one else moved, that kind of killed any potential for DC to do this long term. It just wasn't going to work. So,
we talked about it in the shop when it was announced, and we're like, why would we have customers come back 2 days?
Yeah, it seems. Some stores say they get really good return from it. I think it's a hassle.
Come in for some books, but not all the books.
So that's what it used to be. And Kevin probably remembers. Toby probably remembers. There would be like Tuesday, Thursday would be some releases, right? You'd get like some vendors would be Tuesday, some vendors would be Thursday. It would depend on like location to like the warehouses and it was all just kind of fucking the Wild West.
But Wednesday was always a special day, though.
Yeah, Wednesday was supposed to be like the comic day, but it wasn't until like the 90s where that sort of became really standard, because it would just sort of be like whenever anyone got stuff. So when Penguin picked up all the comics, I mean, basically at that point everything could now be out on Tuesdays for graphic novels. So again, it makes sense, but it just didn't work. So so during the summer, I think it's May.
I think you said May, July.
Like the May catalog for
the May July catalog release. For July will be the Wednesday release. So June we'll start seeing. So June should be when the FOC is only on Monday, baby.
Yeah, and then back to one FOC for me, one order date for customers on Comic Cup. So that's very helpful. I mean, there's more stuff, but I saved a bunch of stories for next time, because there's other stuff to talk about. This is a massively packed couple of weeks of news here. We got endless.
We're not going to talk about Madam Web and just get it over with. Just pull the Band-Aid off.
We'll get to it because I have no idea how long Toby's going to be around. Toby, COVID positive, COVID negative. You good? You never told us.
Negative.
Fantastic.
So I'm just sick.
Okay, excellent. Well, also right after recording our last episode of the podcast, Marvel decided to drop the news that
they do it on purpose, right? They just wait for you to be done. Okay, now
for like the 9 people that listen to this podcast, we're gonna screw them every week.
Yeah. It's an inside joke in the industry, man. That's just what we are. It's okay.
Fantastic Four will be released one way or another. July 25th, 2025, whether it's ready or not.
They really screwed the pooch at not releasing it in 2024 on July 4.
2444. Yeah. 4/4/24. And the cast of Pedro Pascal officially as Mr. Fantastic, Vanessa Kirby as the Invisible Woman, Eben Mars Bacharach as the Thing, and Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch. Toby, you feel like you need to say something about this. You were all amped up before recording.
Because I know what you guys are going to say. So you guys go first, and then I'll defend it.
I don't have any problem with the casting.
Are you sure? It's Marvel. Okay. You guys go ahead.
I have no I literally was like, Pedro Pascal and the other ones, they're a little young. Oh wait, no, it was that. The first Fantastic Four movie, it was like there was 2 old dudes and then 2 young people. Whatever, I don't care. I'm not even going to care anymore.
Well, let me pretend I'm Ryan. It's humans with skin, so I'm okay with it.
Yep.
Yeah, screw you, Ryan. I'm really excited about this one. Right?
Well,
actually, I'm a little curious what Kevin thinks out of everybody here, because he's the most classic take on. He likes the most classic take on things. So, is Kevin still around?
We'll get Kevin's take.
This is Toby, as you know. This is the movie I've been waiting the longest for.
And what do you think of the casting?
Love the Thing.
Okay.
The Torch and the Torch, I'm neutral. Invisible Woman, thumbs up. I love Pedro. This is a little bit like when we talk about the actor they cast as Wonder Man. I don't know if that's even still being made, but that actor from Watchmen, where it's like, that's a really good actor who also feels like, gosh, can't we get a fresh face who hasn't been in like genre stuff recently? So if the Pedro casting had been announced like 5 years ago, I would have been like, wow, hell, that's interesting. Now I'm a little less excited just because I feel like I've seen him in The Last of Us and The Mandalorian. It's like, yeah, I get it. Okay.
He's everywhere.
How about somebody fresh, a fresh face for it? But it's okay. All in all, I'm positive. And Toby, the thing I was most excited about beyond all the casting was that image, that poster that they posted.
That Herbie in it?
No. Well, no. Okay, sure.
That's what I'm excited about it.
Okay, well, I watched that cartoon, so it's not like I'm anti-Herbie. What I was most excited about is the Life magazine that Ben Grimm was reading in that drawing, which was 1963 cover date. Hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
I hope that's not just a fan swerve. I hope that's legit.
No, I think a couple of people have picked up on it, so hopefully, yeah.
No, that image is very 60s, yeah. Very...
So are we going to get basically Marvel's X-Men First? Well, I guess they own X-Men First Class, but
yeah.
Like,
well, I'm very excited. I feel like Pedro is a very interesting choice. Maybe a little overused, but I can see him doing Mr. Fantastic. I'm a huge Vanessa Kirby fan from Hobbs and Shaw and Mission Impossible. I actually hope they unleash her on Mission Impossible, have her do some stunts and fights, because I teased on it a couple of movies ago. So I think she's awesome. Maybe on the young side compared to Pedro, but she can act up and he can act down, I guess. And then, Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things. I think he's freaking awesome. So I'm really, really excited for this cast.
So I will reply to Toby the only way I know how, with the exact opposite in every single way.
Yeah.
Vanessa Kirby, I have no idea who she is. She's a human with skin. I'm sure she'll be great.
You haven't seen the latest Mission Impossible?
I knew it was coming.
I've seen the first Mission Impossible.
Oh, then you haven't seen the best
Tom
ones.
Cruise is Tom Cruise still on the?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's keep moving.
Well,
keep moving.
I will not be watching them.
Keep moving.
Joseph Quinn, he's in Stranger Things, so that's an instant negative, but I'm sure he's a perfectly fine human being.
This is exactly why I want to really go to bed. That's why I stayed on, is to fight you on this.
I have no idea who he is. I'm sure he's fine.
I knew you were going to do this shit. I knew. When it was Joseph Quinn, I was like, fucking Ryan. When it was Vanessa Kirby, I was like, fucking Ryan.
I just don't know who they are. I have no idea. I'm sure they're fine. I have no clue.
Tell me you watched The Bear.
I have no clue. Pedro Pascal. That's the one that's got to sell me. Kind of like what Kevin says. I like him. I don't see him as Reed.
I think he can pull it off. I think he can pull it off. I really do. I think he can pull it off. I can see it.
I don't know. I don't see it.
Could you see Pedro as Dr. Doom?
No, not at all. No, Reed's kind of a dick. He's kind of not airheaded, but he's very aloof. He can be lovable
at times.
He can be arrogant. Yeah. He can be an ass. Like, he could be just very blunt because he has no social skills, right?
So you would have
Mark
the
Russell
guy,
captured him great in Life Story.
Sherlock Holmes to play Reed.
Doctor Strange?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Oh!
If he wasn't Strange.
Oh, Sherlock. Oh, okay. I was like, who the hell are you talking about?
If he wasn't sure,
I could see that way more.
If he wasn't,
I could
Doctor Strange. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I could see Benedict Cumberbatch way more. I don't really want that, but I could see it way more. But Toby,
yeah,
is Bacharach? I think it was Bacharach. I don't remember. I assumed it Bacharach. That's just how I've heard the name before. The Bear.
Mm-hmm.
The secret, I mean, it's not the secret of best casting. Without a doubt, the best casting in this is Eben Moss Bacharach. Cousin on The Bear, I was a little late to it, but I knew I would probably enjoy it. That's the best show on television, one of the best 5 shows on television in the last decade. It's probably the best show currently on television, still airing new episodes. He is perfect for Ben Grimm. Perfect. He's a dickhead. He's an asshole, but lovable. But breaks through, especially season 2 of The Bear. You break through that shell, and you're like, oh no, you're actually fucking great. Like, that character, that you apply that tone to Ben Grimm. Everyone in the neighborhood knows him. They love him, but they love to hate him, right? Like, that character in The Bear. It didn't dawn on me. Like, good job with the person that cast him, because I'm like, oh, you just fucking watched The Bear and cast him because you're like, that's Ben Grimm, and you nailed it, right? Like, it's perfect. That is without a doubt the best casting. The reason to see the movie is Ben Grimm. It's frustrating that he's going to be CG for 98% of the movie, but that is the best casting without a doubt. So I have no clue on the other two, and Pedro Pascal is going to be. I hope I love him, but he's gonna stick out in that movie like a sore thumb, and it's gonna be. That's the tough one for me. Marvel has been so good about casting. Generally, they have nailed almost everybody. This is, to me, I can't remember going into a major character being like, oh, this is not the right guy. This is not. I mean, except for maybe Kang. I'm like, this is just not the right guy at all. So we'll see. That's the tough part for me. I mean, I like him.
Yeah,
I like him a lot. I have no problem with Pedro Pascal.
It's weird. When they start rumoring that he could be it, I'm like, I could see it. I can see it.
It's not Reed Richards. I mean, again, sure, maybe it is. Maybe he'll be a dick. I have no clue, but I
can see it.
We'll see. Let's see. It's tough.
Who would you get for Doctor Doom? Because
I have no idea. I don't know who anyone is. I have no idea.
All right.
No one. Human was skin.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Fuck.
I have no idea who anyone is.
I know he's already been burned in a Marvel project before, but watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds, I can't help but think that how Anson Mount would have been a great Reed Richards.
Oh. Yes. Oh. He'd be great.
Yeah, he would. He'd be a great.
It's too bad they already burned that ground and pissed on it and left it radioactive with that Inhumans project. But
who cares? It doesn't count.
Oh, I guess Chris Evans in the original FF doesn't count.
Yeah. He would be good.
I mean, if you just take a still, if you just take a still of Captain Pike from Strange New Worlds, just look at a still picture and you go like, that is the comic book Reed Richards.
Yeah. God damn it, Kevin. Okay, Toby, you're going to work your deep fake magic tech skills on me when the movie comes out on 4K, okay?
All right.
So you're going to have Anson Mount speaking in Pedro Pascal's voice?
That'll just be Leanne's gift to you. She'll just redo the entire movie with him.
Yeah, let's go. I don't like you that much, Ryan, so it'll probably be Leanne.
I mean, I'm excited for the movie. I think it's great. I'm very excited for the movie. Hopefully they get it right. Yeah.
As long as they pay those CG people.
Ooh, yeah. Well, again, Superman starts filming, like, they're doing table reads. Like, they film soon. You think they even have a script for Fantastic Four? Dude, I am terrified. I'm hopeful, but I'm terrified. They're going to shut this thing out in like 14 months.
I believe,
Kevin.
Ryan, after all the time I've been waiting for this, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic, but I think this might be the next Marvel project that I see.
Okay. Not Daredevil? Deadpool?
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of that as an MCU project, but I guess technically it is. Sure. Yes, Deadpool, but I mean MCU proper.
Will this be the first, the next MCU thing any of us see?
I don't know. I don't know what's coming.
Nothing. Did they move Thunderbolts ahead of this? Because doesn't Thunderbolts?
I don't know what the release schedule is anymore.
I think they moved Thunderbolts ahead, and I think Thunderbolts starts filming like next week.
Huh.
Remember when we all knew this and cared?
I don't know. I think they flip flop Thunderbolts and FF. I think they pushed FF back a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They crank this thing out. Scared. I mean, I'm very hopeful, but I'm not. If it's not good, I won't be surprised. If it's good, I'll be very happy.
Captain America: Brave New World is going to be February 2025.
Oh yeah, that movie. I forgot they filmed that movie like 4 years ago.
I stand by my previous statement.
Thunderbolts will be in May of 2025.
Still standing by my statement.
Fantastic Four, which will be in July of 2025, and it has the old style logo. So
FF will be November 2025. December 2025. Okay,
Blade is in November of 2025.
Oh
no, it's fucking not. Kang
is May 1st of 2026.
Kang isn't a thing.
Avengers Secret Wars is May of 2027. This is all from Variety.
That's not a thing anymore. Okay, so Blade
after them firing Jonathan Majors, I think everything has changed.
So Blade will get scrapped again for the 9th time. FF will move to the November date because they're not going to have it done. Okay, we'll be fine, Kevin. We'll be fine. November 2025 FF. Yeah, they'll get almost.
I didn't forget about our date to see Craven. I was speaking of MCU proper.
Sure.
For the record.
I can't believe you guys are watching Craven, but we're not in line for Madame Web.
I will go on record here. This movie's no way in fuck this comes out in July of 2025. No way. No chance. Or it does, and it's terrible, right? That's the only way it comes out, if they just fucking rush this thing and it looks like garbage. So
if it comes out in July and it's fucking good, what are you doing?
I will then it has a $750 million budget because you will
finally sit down and watch Madame Web and do commentary.
because they obviously way overpaid the best visual artist in the industry to work on the movie at an incredibly it's fast, good, or cheap, right? And
you get two.
They don't have that option, right? And pick two, right? Yeah. They don't have that option, so it's gonna be good and fucking expensive. So it's going to be fast and good, which means it's going to be fucking expensive. That's the only way it comes out in July. So yeah. But we can talk.
You'll watch, if it's good, you'll watch Madame Web and do
I'll watch
commentary.
Madame Web one of these days anyway. Like, I don't care because no one else saw it, so I might as well watch it. Did nobody here? Right? No. Lane said he was waiting on my review. I could give you my review. It's really bad. Like, I don't have to see it to tell you that.
But isn't that when you do go see it? Like, you're excited. This is getting to Ghost Rider level, so you should be like super excited to go see it.
Exactly.
Me and Kevin were talking about this. Like, the worse the reviews came in, we almost like, oh, maybe I do want to see this.
Yeah, because my fear is that it's just bad and boring. Like a dead fish bad where it just lies there and you get nothing. But if it's actively offensive, that's way more interesting. I'm afraid it's the first one though.
So opening weekend was 15 million. Life to date is 35 million US, which is
are the Rotten Tomatoes worse than Ghost Rider and Morbius?
Oh, I don't know. Oh. I saw some review that said they wish they had Shazam 2 numbers for this movie.
That's bad.
That's unfortunate. Week 2 to 3 had a 60% drop, which or week 1 to 2 had a 60% drop, which when you're already about the lowest opening weekend ever for a superhero movie, having a 60% drop is pretty terrible. So. Yeah. Never. I was the first Marvel movie since the 2015 FF movie to not open in the number 1 spot. Deservedly so.
The 2015 FF movie?
Yeah, wasn't that 2015? Do you remember the other Fantastic Four movie?
Oh, the Josh Trank one. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
I believe that did not open at number 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
block that out completely.
I did.
Huh?
I actually did.
So
I saw
all of Sony's movies, right? Every single one of them, it made so far 51.9 million.
That's including international.
The next closest one to it is Morbius at 3 times the box office amount.
Yeah. It is life to date, but I mean, I don't expect Madame Web's going to get too much more in the next.
Yeah, Venom is next. Like it's how did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse only make 384 million?
That was domestic, yeah. Okay. I think that's domestic number.
Maybe, yeah.
No, that might have been worldwide for the first one. The first one didn't do like a ton of money. The second one did much better, but still not. I mean, it's not like $1 billion movie or anything.
So I had
because Across the Spider-Verse did 609. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
or 690 million.
Did like 4. Yeah.
So an idea bloomed on me in all of this. Since they already established multiple Spider-Mans, and there is some love for the Andrew Garfield one, and it seems like he still wants to do it, I say move him into the MCU and make him Scarlet Spider.
Down with that.
Yeah.
Down with that.
Because then they don't have to mention Clone Saga at all. They already explained why there's multiple Spider-Mans. So move over.
Or just put him in the Venom movie, and that way no one will see it.
Well, I think there were rumors that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was supposed to be in this one. Then that got scrapped, and that became Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and then that got scrapped as well. Rumors? I don't know if any of it is true, of course, right?
Hey, maybe Madam Web's horrible, horrible performance might give us a Batgirl theatrical release.
No, that got
that's really bad
for write-off reasons, man. That was a money move.
I know, but you could potentially make more money than Madam Web.
No, but I think once it's written off as a loss, I don't know if you...
No, that's just going to get leaked. Yeah, no. I'm just waiting for the leakers to put that out. I can't wait. Can't wait to watch that and pay no money for it. That and Acme versus Coyote. Can't wait.
They probably save more money not putting it out anyway.
Toby, I do have one thing.
Yeah,
I got like one or two other things here before we go. But we have more comic book movie things to talk about, TV show things to talk about here.
We do.
And Toby, this is a Marvel thing. And Toby, I loved it. It's a Marvel thing, and I loved it, and have like basically no complaints.
What are you going? I actually have no idea what you're referencing.
The trailer for X-Men 97, the new animated series on Disney Plus. That's going to be the continuation of X-Men the animated series.
Yeah.
That trailer was great.
Yeah.
Okay. So not a complaint, because this is what's happened with a lot of animation. You can just tell people are getting older. That cast is not young. Watching the new Futurama, right? The one on Hulu now.
Yeah.
Boy, they all sound very old. Yeah. Billy West's Fry. Yeah. It's difficult. The Simpsons. This has been a problem with The Simpsons for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. Transformers, obviously. Right.
Yeah, not everybody, but some are the same people. But the sound.
I think it's a lot of the same people are still around for X-Men the animated series. So some of the voices, I was like, oof, this. I like that it's the original actors. Some of the voices are a little like, that's feeling a little old. But I was terrified that it was going to be like bad on purpose and not, X-Men was overly designed and the animation was quote unquote bad because of the limitation of children's animation, right? They did the best they could with that complex design.
Yeah, and I thought
what's that?
And I thought they did excellent with what they had.
Yeah, no, it is they are complicated character models and they look good, but the physical animation is rough. My fear was with today's technology, you could make it look excellent at significantly easier. My fear was they would make it look bad on purpose and it would look really bad, but they didn't. They still kept a very similar model, but it looks modern enough that it doesn't look like it was intentionally.
Yeah, but also like it feels I think they captured the feel of the original.
Yes, so it has modern animation techniques using an old style of the old character models, but it retains the feel, which is what we remember, right?
Yep.
We don't have photographic memories where we can remember what every frame of X-Men the animated series looks like when we saw it when we were a kid. But we have the memory of it, and that is what these things need to lean into way more. Yep. The memory, less so the physical replicating the experience. And me and Ryan Scott talked a lot about this, about like remaking video games, right? It's like, if you're making a game that's like supposed to look like an NES game or a Game Boy or game or something like that, you can't have it run poorly, even though they all mostly ran poorly, right? But you're trying to emulate that style, that feeling you had, more so than the physical capabilities of it.
Oh, I got that completely with Final Fantasy.
Oh, like the Pixel remasters are great, right?
Those things were amazing.
Yeah,
and like
that is what my brain remembers them looking like. That's not what they look like, right? No, that's what your brain remembers.
Yeah, and like changing little things here, like making you ability to go faster and do these, like like not making it full bore new, but giving it just enough of a tweak to make it like, oh, look, I'm not spending my entire life sitting in front of a screen trying to do something that, should not take this long.
Not to deviate this too much, how far did you get in Donkey Kong versus Mario?
I haven't played it yet. No, I just picked it up. I haven't started it yet.
Man, I feel it's way too easy. Like, I don't know how to that game. Like, I love that series. I genuinely really, really love that series. Mm-hmm. And I finally got like through like the first run, like the first run of the game, and then you get to start it over, and it's like different. I think that's what I kind of like it better, because you used to use kind of little Marios as like little lemmings. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but that's really what I'm missing. I mean, I just remember loving all the Donkey Kong versus Mario games, but I thought there was a little more of a Lemmings element to it, and the new one doesn't have it. And maybe I'm remembering.
Yeah, I never played them.
I never played them. Missing out. They're fantastic. This one seems a little easy. Yeah. But anyways, X-Men.
Yeah,
X-Men. X-Men residents, Cable, #1 superfan, Charlie, and then the other X-Men #1 fan, overall fan, Bryce isn't here today for this special occasion.
I think there is a 0% chance Bryce knows this exists.
No.
He texted me something the other day. How the hell did he text me? I think we were talking about the bear. And I was like, I can't believe he's going to... because I was like, oh, yeah, no, he's great Bang Grim. And he's like, oh, and he's like, what? I'm like, yeah. He's like, they're rebooting the FF again? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, Bryce doesn't pay attention to this shit anymore.
Bryce became a normal. Oh, no.
Yeah. I'll text him and tell him, hey, do you know there's an X-Men 97 cartoon coming?
No, you just text him the YouTube trailer.
Yeah. See, it's better. If you don't know this stuff, then, like, what a present to wake up and there's a whole X-Men cartoon.
If you want to do the right thing is we wait till the show is over. And then send it to him.
Yeah.
Because then he can watch all of them at once. Because I think they announced that this is going to be a weekly thing.
He did message me that he saw The Marvels, and he said it might be the worst movie he's ever seen in his life. That's how this conversation started. So
yeah.
Anyway, X-Men 97. I can't fucking wait. It's
soon, isn't it? It's
March 20th. Yeah.
It's very soon. In March.
Yeah, less than a month. Ooh.
Yeah, March is at the end of the week.
I know. Can't wait. Look at that. That's great. And final news story, not specifically comic book related, but definitely not comic book movie related, but it is definitely related to comic book movies and the most of us on this podcast, I think. News broke the other week that Disney was officially shutting down the Disney Movie Club and halting production on future physical media releases for movies and TV shows. It was followed up a day later that Sony will be taking over the DVD and Blu-ray business for Disney. So Sony will be releasing the physical movies for Disney, but what a good luck Disney. All of us on this podcast, many of us on this podcast buy a lot of these movies, a lot of the shows. All of us at some point, have been real deep in the physical media. Streaming's great, but if the idea here is a triple down, I don't know, guys. It doesn't seem to be working out too great for you. You did a good job of killing physical media, but you still had a loyal fan base. But I guess Sony's going to get your money now. Things like none of the Disney Plus stuff, being put out, only doing those dumb limited steelbooks for Mandalorian and the first batch of Marvel movies, limited special features, kind of mediocre 4K up-reses on some of their movies. Like Disney went from absolute kings of, all their animated movies and features and physical media and special features, and they were among the best, if not the best. Clearly, people involved just aren't interested anymore. So,
great. then send it to somebody else who can do it.
Give it to someone else.
There are so many movies that they have just dragged their asses on. Not only Disney, but Fox movies. They just have no Blu-ray.
Isn't this what this deal is? Is that Sony gets to do them?
Yes.
But it's still a licensing thing, right?
Yeah.
But isn't the Blu-ray a licensing thing from Sony to begin with?
Bro, but that's what I mean. Disney, it's not like Sony can just be like, cool, we're going to put everything out forever. No, Disney still has to
let them.
There's probably a certain number that they license in the first wave, a certain number of titles, and then but it's Sony's paying, Disney's getting money, so there's the incentive on both ends. Let's crank some stuff out. There's so many movies that are just sitting there locked away in a proverbial vault. Put them out. I think this is great news because Disney has turned into a shitty physical media company.
It's great news if they let them.
But
if Sony's out and they're like, we're going to put out every fucking movie Disney and Fox has ever released in remastered 4K, done right, special features, commentary, the whole shebang. Sign me up. I'll rebuy everything again.
You're talking about the
hey, I will buy all the Star Wars movies if you do the originals.
Oh yeah, it's soon. Fingers crossed. Lucas is still alive, right? I think so. Let's give maybe most. I'm sure that's one they can't do. But yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of shit. I would think it's just gonna see. I think I'm afraid it's gonna be the opposite. At least Disney put some stuff out, and they did have a lot of exclusives on their club, even though they weren't the best. They're pretty bare bones, but they did them. My fear is that Sony's just gonna get the biggest, the best, the new, and that's it. And we're not, and then older stuff is gone forever. That's my fear.
Bring on high def Muppets.
I will say this: I have been enjoying
Muppet babies. Now that they
I have been enjoying going over to Rasputin.
Yeah, I've definitely been picking up stuff at a quicker pace because stuff is going away. I've definitely been getting more. So, we are, comic book collectors and physical media and graphic novels. We're talking about the DC epics and all the, DC world's DC finest and all that, right? So, I mean, bless you. We want this stuff, right?
Yeah, and that's one of a dozen reasons back when the Disney and Fox merger, everybody's like, yes, right on, X-Men and Fantastic Four in the MCU. And there were certain people who had more level-headed and sane saying, this is bad for consumers. It's bad for the movie business to have fewer studios, fewer distributors, fewer voices. That's bad. Fuck the X-Men and the MCU. Who gives a shit in the grand scheme of things?
Hey, man.
I would sacrifice. I would say I will never see a Fantastic Four movie. Like, it never exists if I could have 20th Century Fox back as a healthy, functioning movie studio. I'd make that trade 365, 24/7, no questions asked.
For me, it's the Muppets and Muppet Babies, because unless the same company owns Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and whatever the hell they use and reference, it'll never ever come out.
Well, isn't there even, I was doing a little research into this, right? There's 2 or 3 episodes of The Muppet Show that's not even on Disney Plus, right? And that's music licensing problems.
Yeah, that's a problem too. Yeah. Because I think even Birds of Prey, I love the theme song. They had to change it because they lost the rights to that song.
Oh,
the media one.
The DC show?
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. I love the show, but it was not the best. But I love the theme song. And when it finally came out on DVD, it's a different theme song than it was on TV. And it really bugs me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It bugs me, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that. Huh. That's funny.
Yeah. I'm actually waiting for it to be on sale digitally because I will buy it again just to see if I get the right theme song now.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but it's not too surprising. Physical media is, dwindling in sale. Well, as you make less, as you focus on it less, sales go down. As you've killed it intentionally, sales have gone down. So,
now
the best case here, right, Kevin? The best case here is places like, I don't know, Rhino or Shell Factory, and these smaller companies. What's that?
They do fantastic work.
I don't even know if if Rhino is still in operation.
Is that part? The Shell Factory didn't
Kino Lorber?
Did they merge or whatever? Yeah. What's your Dragon Dynasty, Toby? Are they still doing the Asian movies?
No, it's 88 Miles. UK company kind of took that over. And
okay.
You also have Arrow in the UK. Indicator. Yeah.
Right. So though if Sony and Disney can work out deals where someone's going to come in and they're like, we are going to do the definitive Disney and Pixar releases with all the classic bonus material, new stuff, new scans.
Oh,
we're going to
is it Umbrella something that does the crazy He-Man release that did the Super Mario Brothers release that Seth missed out on? I missed out on too.
Probably, yeah. I know the company, yeah. So that might just be the future, right? Of this stuff is these little micro releases and smaller companies. Again, if that's what it is, fine.
The Pro is getting a 4K release, and it's really nice, like steelbox cover. I'm like, shit, I think I'm in for it. Cutthroat Island is getting a Walmart exclusive steelbox release, and I'm like, fuck, I might be in for that too. I'll be paying more for those versions of the movies than I ever have in my life, but I think I'm doing it.
Yeah, no, I'll support the little offbeat companies if that's what it comes down to. I just hope it happens. I'm just terrified that this is going to make it. Yeah, sure, all the new stuff will come out and that's it. So it's tough to know. I've definitely picked up some stuff recently. So,
even if the deal said we're not allowed to release any Walt Disney product, it will all be Fox product. I'd say fantastic.
Which ones are you waiting for, Kevin?
Well, off the top of my head, without sitting here and making a list, I would say, give me a 4K disc of Tombstone. There's one, and that's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Love that film.
They finally, at the end of physical media, quote unquote, they're finally releasing True Lies, The Abyss, and those Cameron movies with him retouching everything. So I was like, wow, never thought I'd see the day of those movies come out. So, yeah.
And that's Fox.
Yeah. But there's still a couple movies I definitely am still waiting for proper Blu-ray or 4K releases.
I busted out my DVDs and have been watching those again because I'm like, they look fine, they sound fine, these are great.
Well, especially modern TVs, they do some uprising if you get a good player and everything.
I invested last Black Friday. I bought a fairly expensive player that was on a good sale, but I kind of this might be my last player I buy, but I want to get a really good one. I want to get proper up-resing, the best ones I can get. I have HDMI, 2 HDMI outs, one being just audio only, and I'm like, all right, I'm investing in this one because I know that I'll have physical media longer than most people will do. So I was like, I'll spring for the fancier one.
Yeah, especially with some hardcore video files, I'm sure we'll be able to tell you the difference. When it's new stuff and it's streaming 4K and it's a 4K disc, I think the difference is, I'm sure you could see it, but I think it's pretty minor. But there's some stuff that looks really nice, real nice HDR.
Well, sometimes it looks too good on HDR. I remember Charlie was showing me Superman and the costumes started looking like foil. I'm like, wait, that might be too clear.
It depends on how they remaster.
Yeah,
right?
I'm like, you need to just watch the Blu-ray ones on those because I believed it more. When they start walking around with aluminum on their fucking clothes, I'm like, not sure. It's not Doctor Who, so I'm like, I'm not sure I'm buying this anymore. So, yeah.
Well, that's just when he ripped the S off his chest and threw it at Non. So, I think certain things are going to look better streaming than others.
I may have to spring for that Crow. I think I am. Fucking love that. That's one of my all-time favorite movies, man.
Hell yeah!
Spring.
Like Blu-ray is good enough for a lot of stuff, but obviously newer content's going to look really nice in 4K. So but it's it depends on what they do on how much they clean up for the old master. It's just if they over clean it or whatever, it can look a little weird. But I'm happy that it's going to continue, at least for the time being. Japan loves physical media, right? Sony's a Japanese company, so it's good that they're going to continue doing this, at least for now. Fingers crossed. I hope it goes the way Kevin wants. Always afraid it's going to go the other way, and we're going to get nothing, significantly less, but we'll see.
I will choose to say it's going to go the way I want, and that Pedro Pascal will surprise you. I'm just going to choose to believe that way.
I don't think he'll be bad. I just don't think he'll be Reed. I think they're going to write it for him.
I could see it being like the not the Will Persosio one. Who's the guy who did the animal book? Pacheco?
Will Pacheco?
Yeah.
Carlos Pacheco?
Yeah, I could see Pedro playing that Reed, basically. That look.
Yeah, I don't want Reed to be a dickhead through the whole movie. That's not Reed Richards. He's not, intentionally an asshole. Yeah. He's just aloof and a little absent-minded and distracted, and
he gets very focused.
Yeah, focused.
It's kind of just he has the social goes out. He's just quick and boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and it's a little bit different in Mandalorian, but Pedro Pascal, I don't know. Even Last of Us, I don't know.
I think he's solid as an actor. He can pull it off
that way.
Yeah, I think he's going to be solid.
We'll see.
Back in physical media, I actually over the years have collected a lot of stuff from other countries, just because on the digital side it's a nightmare to get. Like you have to log in and out accounts and yada yada yada. Like you have to prove you're in certain countries. The credit cards have to match. So before physical media went out, I started hardcore collecting a lot of my old cartoons or a lot of shows or movies that I grew up on. And basically, whenever someone goes to Europe, I make a German or a UK Amazon order and have them mail it back to me. And it's funny because at the time I was like, man, I have to do this now because it's going to get harder once they don't exist anymore. It's just going to get harder to get them. Look, people here, if you just watch normal stuff, if you watch TV stuff, you only like the top 10 movies or, the ones that everybody knows of, it'll be fine. You could buy them digitally, you could get streaming, whatever. But the minute you kind of go out of that zone, you start when you have multiple countries that you kind of pay attention to, man, a lot of the stuff is going to be really hard in the future, I feel like. Unless there's proper distributors for all of it. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
It already is, right? It already is in a lot of ways. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a weird time.
Yeah.
We will, we'll see. Yeah. I think for a lot of companies, it's just the cost, right? And the production cost.
Yep.
Streaming is, in theory, a lot cheaper. I don't have to worry about physical printing, shipping, all the distribution, warehousing, all the stuff that goes along with it.
Yeah.
But, at what cost?
And then right? 20 or 30 years later from that, people are going to miss the, the covers of the Blu-rays and Nessus, they're going to have retro versions coming out, like cassette tapes now. And vinyl making a reassure.
I never got rid of my player. I still got my VCR in the garage.
Dude, me too. In fact, I found my. I used to put all my VHS tapes into shoe boxes, like all my NBA tapes, all my like freaking North Shore and Above the Rim and what was the other Airborne. I just found them recently, man, and they're in tip-top shape. And I'm like, oh man, I'm really glad I never got rid of them because now I'm just gonna put them on the shelf somewhere, and I'm looking on on Amazon. I'm gonna get those like the Pop. They have the plastic outer safety thing, the little sleeves. I will get them for my VHSs. I got my Ninja Turtles 1, 2, 3. Man, I'm gonna totally savor them all up.
Nice,
yeah,
nice. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, that is it. That's a wonderful podcast. Lots more news stories to talk about next week, and we'll have I'll be back for. So what else has come out in a week or two? Thank you all. When those Marvel vs. DC Omnis, they are technically on Comic Hub now. We're just waiting for the final artwork to go up, and then I will make a very big push. If you'd like to pre-order from us, we'll definitely have them up for sale. I get your order in ASAP when those go on order. Don't dilly around when that stuff comes up.
Get that pre-ordered.
I think especially those variant covers will sell out fast. Thank you to Edward at geekyvillain.com, Joe Duff, Kelsey May, Craig Anderson at the Executive Evolution Podcast, and Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum Podcast. Thank you all. And all the rest of our backers at patreon.com/comicconspiracy. Kick us a couple bucks if you can. Get over to comicsconspiracy.biz and pick up some comics for us to ship. Brock's got way too much stuff to ship from this past weekend. A lot of people buying from our site. Keep Brock employed.
Need a raise.
He's been shipping nonstop.
Shit.
If you'd like to pick up our comic anthology we did for our Comics Conspiracies 30th anniversary, including stories by all of us here, you can go to meanwhileanthology.com, buy a copy from us at the shop, or order from any of the other stores that carry it. Brock has all his stuff over at conspiratorbrock.com. You can see his videos. Our good friend Charlie has the Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast, talking about Doctor Who. Listen to that. Kevin has the interview series called Between the Panels at fanbasepress.com. And his regular live show on Comic Art Live, A Page I Love. That's on YouTube. Just go to Comic Art Live and look for that. And my wife Leanne's at leannehill.com. Her art's at etsy.com/shop/leannehillart. You can go buy some stuff from her there or at the store. We have all her art there as well. And if you are on Blue Sky, I'm Ryan Higgins. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Never uses it. Kevin is that Kevin Sharp. If you are on Twitter for some reason, still you can follow the store, Comics Con Store. We are also all those names. I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan on Twitter, but I'm basically done. I haven't used it in like a month.
Have you been Blue Skying?
I'm actually out. Like I had to check it for DMs, but that's about it. I'm on Blue Sky all the time. Blue Sky's great. And check out Geekbox every other week. We record opposite this one and talk about geeky stuff over there with my buddy Ryan Scott and some other friends if they join us. And our good friends, Manga Machinations podcast, talk about manga and anime. Okay, that's it.
Next, Netflix is doing a live action City Hunter movie.
Ooh, nice. I heard that Avatar. I heard that new Avatar show sucked.
Yeah,
like all the other Netflix stuff does. It all sucks.
I actually thought One Piece was not too bad.
Which one?
I actually thought One Piece wasn't too bad.
Oh yeah, I heard that was all right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Goodbye, everyone.